Teens play a dangerous party game to call spirits, but now they won't leave. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a supernatural horror from 2022 titled Talk to Me. The movie begins in a crowded house somewhere in Australia where a large party is being held. A young man, Cole, is searching for his younger brother, Duckett, who is reportedly under the influence of drugs and behaving erratically. Cole finds Duckett shutting himself in a room, so he busts the door open. Inside, Duckett is sitting on the bed shirtless and murmuring to himself, even as Cole tries to bring him home. Cole becomes enraged when he notices everyone recording them on their phones and demands them to stop. Suddenly, Duckett stabs his older brother with a knife before stabbing himself in the face as the others run away. Later, in the same town, we meet a high school student named Mia, who is mourning the second anniversary of her mother's death. Mia's mother passed away after accidentally overdosing on sleeping pills. Mia harbors resentment towards her father, Max, believing he didn't do enough to save her mother. To avoid interacting with Max, Mia decides to pick up a young teen, Riley, who is spending time with a friend. On their way to Riley's house, they encounter a severely injured young kangaroo on the road. Despite Riley's plea to help the animal, Mia chooses not to intervene. Upon arriving at Riley's house, Mia quickly goes to see her best friend Jade, Riley's older sister, in her room. Jade, engrossed in a conversation with her new boyfriend over the phone, is momentarily oblivious to Mia's need for her attention. Mia views Jade and Riley, as well as their mother, Sue, as her family, feeling a strong emotional connection with them. The girls come across a video of their schoolmate acting possessed at a party. Jade says that it's fake, but Mia is intrigued and wants to see for herself. She also wants to go to that party because she wants to distract herself from feeling down since it's her mother's death anniversary. Jade reluctantly agrees for her best friend's sake, and also because her boyfriend will be there. They sneak out, but Riley gets to join them, despite Jade's annoyance. They arrive at the party and meet Jade's boyfriend, Daniel, who turns out to be Mia's ex-boyfriend. Even though they were once together, they are still friends. Then these other schoolmates, Haley and Joss, show them this game everyone's playing called Talk to Me. It's this weird setup with what they say is the embalmed hand of a psychic medium, and they use it to supposedly summon some kind of supernatural entity. When deciding who will do it first, Mia volunteers. Joss straps her tightly into the chair, while Haley explains that they must stop the possession within 90 seconds, or else the spirits will refuse to leave. They light the candle and instruct Mia to hold their hand and say, "Talk to me." Mia is shocked and terrified to see an apparition of an old man appear before her. She immediately lets go of the hand. After some encouragement from the others except for Jade, who remains skeptical, Mia holds the hand again and now sees a creepy woman. Haley tells her to say, "I let you in," to the ghost. When Mia does this, her head snaps back and she looks like she's choking. Jade freaks out and demands that they stop. After a minute, Mia's choking stops and she lowers her head. Her pupils are dilated and dark as she becomes possessed by the creepy spirit. Soon, Mia begins to act maniacally, speaking in a strange and frightening voice. She gestures to Riley, saying, "They really like you," which creeps him out. When the timer reaches 83 seconds, Joss attempts to pull Mia away from the hand before the 90-second mark, but the spirit refuses to let go and yells for Riley to run. Eventually, Haley and Joss manage to break Mia's creepy connection with the hand. They do it by blowing out the candle, even though the whole thing lasted way longer than 90 seconds. They make sure Mia's alright, and then, believe it or not, the rest of them start taking turns getting possessed. Mia even goes for another round. Back at Jade and Riley's place, Riley's curious and asks Mia how it feels to be possessed, and Mia responds, "It was fantastic." She had such a blast with the whole demon possession thing that even Daniel's itching to give it a shot. Jade, wanting to keep her boyfriend happy, asks Haley if they can do the whole spooky hand thing at her house tonight, to which Haley agrees. Jade, Mia, Daniel, Riley, and some of Riley's friends manage to convince Sue that they're not throwing a party, so they all hang out, waiting for everyone else to show up. Once the gang's all there and the hand's ready to go, Daniel's super eager and jumps right in to start the ritual. The spirit that gets into Daniel is a wild one. It starts by saying it's not into Jade and starts making Daniel act horny, and even makes out with Jade's dog. The other teens are both disgusted and delighted as they laugh and record Daniel. After they break Daniel's spiritual link, he feels embarrassed, but the others are just getting started. Again, they take turns getting possessed, and even Daniel goes for another round. When Riley asks for a turn, Jade says no since the game is too risky, and the others agree because Riley is too young. Mia, though, tries to persuade Jade to let her brother try it, but Jade still refuses. As a result, Jade and Riley argue, and Jade briefly leaves the room followed by Daniel. Riley then begs Mia to give him a chance, and Mia agrees, but only for 50 seconds, rather than the normal 90. Once the others agree, Riley gets strapped on the chair and begins the ritual while Haley starts the timer. Riley initially apologizes to Mia, but then abruptly transforms as if possessed by her mother, speaking of her own death and expressing how much she misses Mia. Despite Haley's reminder that the 50 seconds have passed, Mia pleads for more time with her supposed mother. As the timer reaches 0, the others attempt to sever the connection, but the situation takes a horrific turn. The entity controlling Riley begins to stutter before violently smashing his head against the table. It then drags Riley and the chair towards a cabinet, repeatedly slamming his head against it until he bleeds profusely. Jade and Daniel, returning to the room, find Riley in this state, and Jade screams for help. It takes a combined effort from everyone to finally remove Riley's hand. In critical condition and needing immediate medical attention, Riley is rushed to the hospital. The trauma weighs heavily on everyone as they undergo questioning by the police. Afterward, burdened by guilt, Mia decides to return home. Seeking solace in Riley's recovery, Mia attempts to visit him in the hospital, but Jade tells her to go away. Sue also tells her to leave as she accuses Mia of giving Riley drugs, which she denies. As Mia is about to leave, she catches a glimpse of her mother's reflection in a window, seemingly heading towards the restroom. She follows, only to hear her mother's voice pleading for help, but finds no one there. This deepens her distress. Seeing Mia so upset, Daniel checks in on her and offers to drive her home. Once they're there, Mia suggests Daniel stay over to avoid his parents finding out he lied about his whereabouts. Daniel's hesitant at first, considering his relationship with Jade, but Mia reassures him that they're just friends and she really doesn't want to be alone tonight. In her room, Daniel says that he doesn't think the spirit from earlier is Mia's mom, and that the spirit may be fooling her because they can see into her memories. Mia still thinks that her mother is trying to reach out. After reminiscing about their past relationship as children, it's clear that Mia still has feelings for Daniel. Later that night, Mia has a nightmare of her mother's death and wakes up. In her room, she sees the spirit of an elderly woman approach Daniel to suck on his toes. She yells at him to wake up, terrified, but when he does, he is surprised to see Mia with white pupils sucking on his toe, not a spirit. He freaks out and runs away from her house. Mia cries out in frustration and slaps herself multiple times before revealing that she has taken the hand in her bag. She attempts to summon her mother by doing the ritual, and it seems to work, as her mother's spirit named Rhea appears. She tells Mia that she didn't mean to kill herself and that it was an accident. She also tells Mia to help free Riley because he's in a lot of pain before she cuddles Mia to sleep. Meanwhile, Jade is at the hospital helping to wash her brother. But things take a terrifying turn when he becomes possessed and suddenly bites himself. In a disturbing outburst, Riley collapses and slams his head against the restroom wall repeatedly, bleeding profusely on the floor. Jade screams for help, and a nurse rushes in to intervene. The next day, Mia meets up with Jade, Daniel, Haley, and Joss. Jade shares that Riley keeps attempting to harm himself, and Joss reveals something alarming. The person who gave him the hand told him that the spirits are trying to keep Riley by making him die while still possessed. This person turns out to be Duckett, so they decide to meet with Cole, hoping he might have some insight into Riley's situation. Cole confronts Joss, accusing him of exploiting Duckett's interest in the hand and neglecting their friendship. He explains that the longer the spirits remain within Riley, the weaker they become, suggesting that their best course of action might be to simply wait it out. However, Mia isn't convinced by Cole's wait-and-see approach. She believes they failed to close Riley's spiritual link properly because they didn't blow out the candle after his ritual. Determined, Mia, Jade, and Daniel go to Riley's hospital room to complete the ritual, but their initial attempts are unsuccessful. Mia then comes up with a new plan, to use the ritual to communicate with Riley's spirit, which she suspects is detached from his body. During the ritual, she encounters the spirit of a young girl. This girl offers to guide Mia to where Riley's spirit is, and Mia agrees to follow her. In what appears to be a realm of spirits, Mia witnesses Riley surrounded and tormented by numerous spirits. After the ritual ends, Mia shares the harrowing details of her experience with her friends before heading home. Back at home, Mia's dad, Max, wants to show her Ria's suicide note, which he's kept hidden for 2 years. Mia is skeptical, refusing to believe it's real because the spirit of Ria told her she didn't mean to end her life. Distraught, Mia locks herself in her room, hearing what she thinks is Max calling and banging on her door. However, the spirit of Ria insists that this isn't the real Max, and indeed, we see that the real Max is quietly sitting in the living room. Ria's spirit tells Mia that the only way to save Riley is to end his life. Meanwhile, an entity resembling Max, but with a distorted, eerie face, breaks into Mia's room and attacks her. In a panic, Mia reaches for a pair of scissors to defend herself. At the same time, the real Max, alerted by the noise, heads towards her room. In a tragic mix-up, Mia manages to stab the figure with the scissors, only to realize in horror that she has mistakenly killed her real father. Shortly after the tragic incident, Mia calls Jade, urging her to come over, claiming she has a way to save Riley. Jade, eager to help her brother, leaves him alone and heads to Mia's house. Unbeknownst to Jade, Mia's real intention is to be alone with Riley. At the hospital, Sue confronts Mia. She apologizes for her earlier accusations and for turning Mia away, acknowledging that Mia isn't responsible for what happened to Riley. Sue then allows Mia a private moment with Riley. Under the growing influence of the demonic spirits, Mia believes she must end Riley's suffering by killing him. She prepares to stab him with the blood-stained scissors, but finds herself unable to go through with it. Meanwhile, Jade arrives at Mia's house to find it empty. She enters and discovers Max in a critical state. Horrified, she quickly calls her mother to alert her about Mia's dangerous state, then rushes back to the hospital, fearing for Riley's safety. In a frantic state, Sue races to Riley's hospital room, but both he and Mia are missing. Jade, arriving at the hospital, spots Mia pushing Riley in a wheelchair and decides to follow them discreetly. Mia, lost in her delusion and seeing Riley as a decaying old spirit, heads towards a busy highway with a grim plan to push him into the traffic, influenced by Ria's spirit urging her on. Mia releases her hold on Riley's wheelchair, allowing it to roll towards the busy road, resulting in a car swerving and hitting something. Suddenly, Mia finds herself in the middle of the road, bloodied and injured. She gets up and sees Jade holding Riley by the roadside. The next moment, Mia is back in the hospital, but everything appears surreal and distorted. Riley, now miraculously recovered, leaves the hospital with his family. Mia sees Max walking through the hospital corridors, but he doesn't acknowledge her calls. She feels increasingly isolated as no one seems to notice her, and the surroundings gradually fade into darkness. Then, a flickering light catches her attention. Approaching it, she discovers a candle with a hand emerging from it. Compelled, Mia reaches out to grab the hand. As she does, she's suddenly transported to an unfamiliar place where a group of men are observing her. The man holding her hand whispers, "I let you in," revealing the shocking truth. Mia was killed in the road accident and has now become a spirit herself. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.